What it do, Ohio Cannabis Report family? It's your boy Gerald Moore Jr. back with another Ohio Cannabis Report live episode. I know it's been a few days, there's been a lot going on. I have been prepping for the Central Ohio Cannabis Social Equity Forum and panel discussion that we'll be having April 4th. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, please get your tickets. It is a free event, it's a community event. So please come through. Good vibes only, man. Like, we're really trying to have some good conversations and figure out some strategies, solutions, while also hearing from some people that are on the ground, people that have been to been to the state house to testify against SB 56, against government overreach. There will be home growers. There will be one disabled person, and then we have a former Army veteran. So I have a great panel for the discussion, so I'm excited to hear everybody. Also, if you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you guys go check out the interview I just did with Senator Bill DeMora. He's been a huge advocate and proponent on being on cannabis consumer sides. And so basically, he broke down issue 2 versus SB 56 and basically what happened, right? Basically, our government is led by Republicans, right? The GOP. And I don't really like to get into the whole thing, but it is what it is. And so obviously we live in a gerrymandered state, which means like our districts are all broken up and they don't necessarily represent the people in those communities. So the politicians voted, along the lines of party lines, right? From the Republican governor, Mike DeWine, all the way down. He gave an agenda to the Senate, and to the House, and SB 56 is what they came up with. Now, obviously, a lot of people are like, "Well, we voted for, issue 2. We voted for legalization. How could they do this? Oh my God! Like, why do we vote? Why do we vote?" Well, because we voted for a citizens-initiated statute, right? And that citizens-initiated statute was yes on issue 2, right? Regulate marijuana like alcohol. And so that's what they started to do. But then the Senate and the House started to work on different bills because they said they could, right? They didn't have to change it, but they said they could. They wanted to. They kept bringing up kids. Kids are getting access to cannabis at gas stations. Kids are getting access to cannabis at head shops. Again, so it is what it is. Right now, SB 56 goes into law March 20th, right? And so again, there are crimes and fines a part of SB 56 when it comes to cannabis, right? So if you're publicly consuming cannabis, it's opportunity for fines and crimes. If you're consuming cannabis in your car, fines and crimes. If you're traveling with cannabis that is opened and not stored in an original package from an Ohio dispensary, not in your trunk, crime and fine. Probable cause, police can pull you over. Oh, we seen you swerving, you didn't have on your turn signal, smells like weed, get out the car, let's search, right? Jobs can now, randomly drug test you again. And if you fail, you get fired, you don't get your unemployment benefits. Healthcare places, if you need an organs transplant and you're a cannabis consumer, they can discriminate against you. Housing, if you're renting and you consume, again, can't consume outside. So where are you supposed to consume, right? There's no lounges. We haven't allowed for that. So there's a lot of issues. Also, they took away the social equity fund. So 36% of the tax revenue was supposed to go to local communities to help with funding resources, infrastructure, education, healthcare, all those things. That money is taken away and gets put into the general coffers, the general fund for the GOP to determine what they want to do with it. So again, this is what we're facing in Ohio. There is a referendum that they are getting signatures for. I know there's a lot of different counties. I think last time I heard, I think they might have over 100,000. They got to have over 240,000. Don't quote me on that, but it's well over 200,000 they have to have before March 20th, I believe. So it's coming down to the home stretch. Obviously, February, Black History Month, we're almost at the end, shortest month of the year. So yeah, say no Oh, no on SB56.com, I believe, is the website if you want to know where they are petitions. I'm in Franklin County, so I think there's a couple spots in Franklin County. Again, I don't know every place else. We'll try to get somebody on from that group. I am in a chat with some of them, so but I don't really stay up to date with everybody, honestly, because again, they know how to find me. So yeah, that's what's been going on with that. So yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe on a YouTube page. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. Just a little disclaimer, this is for news, entertainment, and educational purposes only. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a politician. I am just a citizen. I'm just a concerned citizen, and just sharing this information on the platform. So hopefully it helps somebody. If you do like the platform, please share it, please like, please comment. We do reply to the comments. Also, let me know where you're from. If you're tapping in from Ohio, let me know what city, what county you from. If you are a cannabis consumer, let me know what you're consuming. Let me know what you like to smoke, how you like to smoke, where you like to smoke. Where's your favorite place to smoke? Who's your favorite place to smoke? Who's your favorite person to smoke with, if you have that person outside of yourself? I consume by myself a lot. So if you're not bringing good smoke to the party, I can't smoke with everybody either. People be blowing the high. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, let me know in the comments. We're going to do a little Black History rundown since it is Black History Month, almost the end of Black History Month. And with, cannabis being such a stigmatized plant over the last 60 years, the war on drugs, and so many Black and brown communities, African-American communities, have been disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs, a plant that is now legal, that we are selling legally in states all across the country. But a lot of folks can't participate in this industry because it's all cash. People have criminal pasts, which again have disrupted entire families, communities, from a lot of various opportunities in America, all because of cannabis, and the prohibition of it and the war on drugs. So I do have a list of folks that I do want to shout out. Shout out to everybody in Ohio that has been advocating publicly. That's been, it's not easy. It's you have to be very courageous to talk publicly about politicians and the policy and shit that's going on. We can all, talk about basketball, football, entertainment, but at the end of the day, politics is something that impacts us all. And so when it comes to cannabis, I think it's important that more of us start to voice our thoughts publicly, right? I think it's important that folks start to show up to the state house. I think it's important that folks start to contact their state representatives and have more open dialogue and conversation. And so that's why we will be hosting the Central Ohio Cannabis Social Equity Forum. I do have some flyers that I'll be handing out starting soon. But also you can go on Eventbrite or our Facebook page to RSVP to that event. But we just got to start having more conversations. This is a full-blooded industry. You know what I mean? There's no reason we should still be gatekeeping conversations around cannabis or tiptoeing around it. Every event doesn't have to be a big ass smoke out. Every event doesn't have to be a farmer's market. Every event doesn't have to be a festival, right? Like I see all of these festivals, and guess what? All that shit is about to end March 20th. Public consumption is illegal in Ohio after March 20th. Sharing your cannabis is illegal March 20th, right? So all of these events, the festivals, going out, partying in the fields, but a lot of y'all don't be speaking up. Y'all getting y'all little bag, y'all doing y'all events, but I don't see a lot of y'all publicly speaking up about the laws and the policies. I don't see y'all helping putting money towards people that are going to testify or organizations that are doing the work, right? Like you have to do all of the work. Like the whole party scene, like I'm cool on the big smokeouts, right? Like once I'm high, I'm high. I don't need to get more high. Like I don't need niggas keep passing me the blunt. You know what I mean? But again, I get it. You know what I mean? The culture, I get it. Good music, good vibes, good energy. But at the end of the day, policy matters. You know what I mean? And, you know, I've been to tons of events where it's hundreds of people, thousands of people. But then when it comes to testifying at the State House, nobody shows the fuck up. When it comes to holding the politicians accountable, everybody's online talking shit. But did you go meet with the politicians? Have you reached out to a politician to interview them? Have you texted? Like, you have to do the work. Then you can't be mad when, oh, well, these politicians don't listen. Yeah, because you live in a Republican gerrymandered county or city or district, and you have never talked to your politician. Even if they're Republican and you're a Democrat, or you're a Republican, Democrat, whatever, they still work for you. You don't have to tell that person nothing. You can say, hey, I'm a constituent. I live in your district, and I don't like the way things are going. There's no jobs. The price of utilities is going up. The air quality is poor. What the fuck are you doing? Let me see your history and what bills that you voted on. What bills have you put forth at the Senate or the House to make our lives better? But y'all not doing that. And then you look at these people, you look at John Husted, you look at Bernie Moreno, you look at Governor DeWine, you look at all these dudes, Matt Huffman. And it's like, who's holding them accountable outside of the rooster? You know what I mean? Like, so many, we all have this now. There's no excuse. My wife just came home because she's all, flustered because she works for a news company and they just laid off a bunch of people. So everybody around the office is frustrated because they don't know who's going to be next. And they just laid off one of their whole creative departments. Guess what? The CEO of the company is a billionaire. But then we wonder why we don't hear all the news, right? The news can only show you so much in 30-second clips, 30-minute segments, right? They're giving you bits and pieces. Like, I go on here for an hour straight, right? Obviously, the bandwidth is more like a podcast, right? So you listen and do shit, you know what I mean? But a lot of people are listening to the news for those sound bites, quick hits. And we are living in a different day and age. And I've been trying to tell my wife this for the longest, you know what I mean? But again, when you've been trained, you've been conditioned to believe, oh, I got to go to school, get my degree, being in a journalism program. And I was saying a few years ago, I was like, everybody with a cell phone needs to become a journalist. And my wife's coworker, it was on X, and he was like, no, they shouldn't. I was like, yeah, the fuck they should. Like, just because you have a degree in something doesn't make you more superior. Just because you have more vocabulary, just because you know how to put something in a package and present it in a certain way, articulate it in a certain way, doesn't necessarily make you better. And you have a huge ass platform that you're controlled. So a lot of these people, they're puppets, they're controlled, right? They're talent. They can't really say what they feel, right? You have some of these opinion shows where they obviously do that, but typically those are 1099, right? They're not employed by the station. And so we have to understand in this day of digital media, we all have cameras, we all have computers. Use it. Oh my God, I can't believe these people are doing this. Oh my God, they've been doing it for the longest. What the fuck where have you been? But, I'll get off that high horse. But again, people have to realize, like, you have to take part in the fucking thing. You can't just sit down and be passive and see shit and be like, well, it's not going to affect me, because eventually it will affect you. And that's what people are starting to realize, right? Like, there's a lot of people that are enslaved right now, right? And they're working jobs, paycheck to paycheck, can barely afford to live, can barely afford healthcare, can barely afford their car note, gas, groceries, childcare. But being racist is priority, right? Being prejudiced is priority. Being ignorant is priority. Being a little bit better or having it a little bit better than the person next to you is priority, right? Because capitalism is a game that is constantly having everybody in competition, right? Capitalism makes everybody see that you're a threat or you're competition if I think we're in the same boat. Nobody is thinking they can compete with Jeff Bezos. Nobody but the billionaires. Nobody thinks they can compete with Mark Zuckerberg. Nobody thinks they can compete with Bill Gates. Nobody thinks they can compete with these dudes because, oh, they have so much money. But when you take the money away, when you take the financing away, when you take the credit cards away, when you take the loser, other multimillionaire, billionaire business class that invest in these dudes, when you take all of that away, what do they have? Usually they're losers. When you take away the engineers that are actually doing the design and the development, when you take away the sales team, when you take away the marketing and advertising team, when you take away all of these things, what do they have? Usually nothing, right? And that's why they manipulate, they exploit, right? It's easier to do that when you don't really have anything. You just have the money, the title, the power. So, hey, when you have billions, I can hire any and everybody to do anything and everything. I hire the lawyers, I hire the PR firm, I hire the engineers, I hire the scientists. And guess what? When I hire you, shut the fuck up. So that's what happens, right? And then years later, people come out, oh, I worked for that guy. He was a total fucking dick, but he was paying me 100 grand, 200 grand. Like, so again, people accept being paid something and dealing with something, right? Because it's like, oh, we have to deal with this because, you know, if I want to live this lifestyle, it's like, no, the fuck you don't. Like, I don't work with nobody that's going to be talking to me crazy. That's why I didn't survive in corporate America. Because I'm like, first of all, fuck this job, fuck you, fuck all of y'all. Are we serious? Not over my humanity. And a lot of people have subjected themselves to treatment because, again, this is what we have to accept it because, oh, I need this job, or I need, you know, they put you in a constant state of fear, a constant state of panic, a constant state of needing something, right? And so you have to continue to feed into that system. You can't adjust the way you live. Oh, God forbid we dialed it back a little bit. God forbid we talk shit about the people who controlling everything. Oh, we got to keep it PC. You can't say that about him. Why the fuck not? Donald Trump say whatever the fuck he wants. Donald Trump put up apes of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama on his main social media page. Our country is being run by an entire pedophilia, human trafficking, child trafficking, sex ring. People should be out in the streets, but people are more worried about going to their job. Why are we protesting on the weekends? You should be protesting right now. Everything about your life should be a form of protest or a rebellion. That's how my life is. I'm a Black person. So when I show up, it's already rebellion in white spaces. So again, are you free? If you're afraid to move, if you're afraid to speak, if you don't have true freedom or true freedom of speech, are you truly free? All right. Or can you just talk shit about people who are on your level and below you? All right. And that's what a lot of people, you know, a lot of people got to look themselves in the mirror, look themselves in their camera phone. You know what I mean? And actually ask themselves, like, you know what I mean? Like, you standing on 10 toes. You know what I mean? A lot of people hunched over. You know what I mean? And I ain't never been the one. All right. Let me go ahead and holler at my Black history. All right, so I got a Black history rundown, and we're going to talk about some historical figures, some local leaders, growers, activists who shaped the cannabis culture, equity, and business, including Ohio-specific stories and national context. So Black history and cannabis, historical and cultural roots. Louis Armstrong and jazz culture. Jazz musicians played a role in spreading cannabis culture northward in the U.S., helping normalize its use in Black creative communities decades before legalization debates began. Cannabis and the war on drugs. Racial stereotypes fueled policies that disproportionately targeted Black communities, a backdrop that makes today's industry inequalities or inequities and social equity movements deeply historic. National cannabis leaders and activists While not Ohio specific, these figures influence cannabis advocacy nationwide and are important for context. Wanda James out of Colorado, the first Black woman to own a legal cannabis dispensary in the United States, paving the way for Black entrepreneurs in cannabis business. Mary Pryor, co-founder of Cannaclusive, advocating inclusion and business resources for minority cannabis owners. Amber Center and Hope Wiseman. Shout out to Hope Wiseman. She one of the homies. I grew up with her out of Maryland. Leaders promoting equity, access, and empowerment within the industry. Hope is one of the youngest, if not the youngest, Black woman to own a cannabis dispensary, I know, in the state of Maryland and probably in the country. Shout out to the homie Tahir Johnson, and Ernest Tony. Key voices for social equity, inclusion, policy, and BIPOC representation, legal cannabis marketplace. And then you have cannabis trailblazers and growers in Ohio. Arian Kirkpatrick of Harvest, Ohio, which is now Movunu, a groundbreaking Ohio figure, the only Black woman in Ohio licensed to cultivate, dispense, and sell cannabis, fully vertically integrated. Obviously, they were sued, and all of their cultivation and processors, I think, got taken away. So now they just have a few dispensaries. I think they have 2 in Athens and then a couple in the Cleveland area. The founder of Harvest, Ohio, a family-led business with multiple locations, breaking barriers and creating space for Black leadership in the state's cannabis business marketplace. Then you also have Ohio's early medical cannabis licensing, including several minority-owned businesses such as Benaleaves. You had Harvest of Ohio, Nora Labs, Quinn Extracts, reflecting progress in local Black cannabis entrepreneurship. Bill Williams is one of the owners of Benaleaves. Roz McCarthy and the Black Buddha Cannabis. Roz McCarthy, Ohio advocate and founder of Black Buddha Cannabis, a brand born from a mission to build culturally inclusive industry practices and wellness-driven products. McCarthy previously launched Minorities for Medical Marijuana, M for MM, a national nonprofit focused on education, expungement, and ownership access for Black and minority communities. Allie Reeves and Midwest Canna Women, Cleveland native Allie Reeves, founder of Midwest Canna Women, an organization supporting minorities and women entering the cannabis industry. Allie work highlights grassroots support, education, and building community infrastructure around equity in Ohio. Why this matters today. Even as legalization advances, the legacy of policing, exclusion from legal markets, and lack of representation remain central issues. Highlighting Black growers, owners, and advocates isn't just history, it's part of ongoing struggles for fairness in cannabis policy, business, and policy. So yeah, let me know. Obviously, we got folks like Bone Thugs and Harmony. We got the comedian Dave Chappelle, who's been known to be a cannabis advocate. We got athletes, Pac-Man Jones, former Cincinnati Bengal. I'll put myself in there, former Ohio University All-American, Ohio University Bobcat, published author, encouraging cannabis. Dr. Bridget is also a Ohio resident in Cleveland. She's also a cannabis doctor. I'm also a sign model and actor, so I've been in commercials. I've been on, this is a cover model. I'm a cover model for this sports brand. As you can see, I got my degree from Ohio University in healthcare. Shout out to Anthony Mastermind, Anthony Riley. Shout out to Broderick over at Benaleaves. He does sales with Benaleaves. He's been heavy in the cannabis space for a while. He also runs a podcast, Between the Buds. Go check him out. Subscribe to his podcast. He's actually the one, me and him founded Ohio Cannabis Report, and I'm one of the ones that I would like to think influenced him to be on his journey in this space, the media space. I was encouraging him a lot. Shout out to the homie Brian. I don't know. I don't think he's at Amplify anymore. Who else? Shout out to Bree. Shout out to the Ohio TV crew. They're out of Kentucky, but they do a lot of work in Ohio for the community. Shout out to Pothead Genius and Ashley out of Cincinnati. Shout out to what's the homies that do the podcast out of Cincinnati, Smoking. They just reached out to me to be on their podcast. Like next month. Once I get, let me see. Chef Lady. No, that's not it. That's not it. Yes, no. What's the name of it? Oh, Smoking Word podcast. So they're on YouTube. Yeah, shout out to them. They got a dope little platform. They got Smoking Word podcast. So we'll be on there, or I'll be on there. CJ is one of the hosts, so I'll be on there in like a month. So shout out to them. Yeah, shout out to anybody in the community, man. All the growers. Who else have I come into contact with that wouldn't mind their name being put out there? And also, I understand too, a lot of people don't want to be associated publicly, whether you're consuming or whether you're selling or you got a job. So I definitely understand that. I'm a public figure. I've been a public figure. I'm married to a public figure, so I'm really not afraid of the spotlight. You know what I mean? People have already told me I was crazy. People have already told me like, why are you doing this? Or I don't care. I'm a grown ass man. I'm about to be 37 this year. Like, I've been smoking weed for damn near 20 years. And I was able to play Division I football, full scholarship, try out for the NFL, start multiple businesses, run a nonprofit, run Ohio Cannabis Report, organize, these events. So we don't worry about what people say about us. You know what I mean? We do not worry. All right. I wanted to show y'all something else too. But yeah, I mean, there's right now, I don't know, it's getting real spooky. If we don't get these signatures to get the referendum on the ballot, SB 56 is the law of the land. So I think too, my thing is like major cities like Columbus, right? Like the police have already said, you know what I mean? Like they're not going to waste their time with, cannabis arrests and stuff like that. So I think bigger cities, Cincinnati will probably be okay. Columbus will probably be okay. But it's when you get to those small cities, right? If you're traveling, if you're coming from Michigan, if you're coming from somewhere else, it's those small ass towns and cities or the highways, you know what I mean? The state highway patrol. So again, like unless you just hunker down in your city, the people that'll be traveling, those will be the ones taking the risk. But again, those fines, right? If you're somebody that, maybe doesn't have the finances and you get a $400 fine, a $500 fine, $1,000 fine, or you get put in jail, that could be a catastrophic offense. You know what I mean? Like you may not have that bread. A lot of people are struggling right now. $100 is a lot of money. I just got my wife new tires, new brakes, oil change for her she got a 2021 Nissan. A stack. Just new tires, new brakes, and oil change. And I did the oil change. Her brakes is hard to do, so I took her brakes to get done. And then I had to do my own oil change as well, which I do my own oil change. I changed my brakes as well. But again, when you're like, that's a lot of money. Gas, you know what I mean? Food, the tariffs fucking people up right now. You know what I mean? People getting laid off right and left. It's spooky. So, I don't have the answers. You know what I mean? I'm just a black man. You know what I mean? Y'all don't want my solutions or answers, and I'm not gonna give them to y'all because then y'all just gonna take them. Shit, I'm using that internet though. Y'all better learn how to use Chat GPT. Because I'm not protesting shit in the streets. I tell you that. They're not about to shoot rubber bullets or shoot me because they shooting y'all now. They ain't shooting me. I'm safer in the crib, smoking my weed. Look. But nah, it's crazy out here, man. Like, a lot of people like, yeah, I voted for this shit. They taking away hospitals in rural communities. Like, it's fucked up. It is really fucked up out here. But folks tried to warn. We tried to warn. We tried to warn folks. Let me see. Also, too, we're still looking for a few community sponsors and partners with the Cannabis Social Equity Forum. So if you're a small business, if you have a small organization, community nonprofit, and you're based in Ohio or Columbus, or you're an individual that just wants to support the event, wants to put your name on it, or we're accepting donations. This work is not easy. I do not get paid to do this work. I do have a nonprofit that I am a volunteer through, volunteer president. But again, I am doing all of this on my own. Ohio Cannabis Report, the Instagram, the YouTube, the Facebook page. I am a one-man show, one-man band. You know what I mean? Besides the supporters and people that tune in and watch, and the people that we interview, the production, if you don't like the production quality, if it's not good enough for you, just know my budget is pretty slim. My budget is zero. I would love to have a beautiful studio. I would love to have a producer. I would love to have video editors. I would love to have my own photography. I would love to have all that stuff. But guess what? I don't mind bootstrapping it. You know what I mean? Because I have creative control. I have creative freedom. You know what I mean? To do whatever I want. So, obviously when people invest, when people give you money, there's incentives, there's things like that. So, we accept donations and support. So far we have 7 community sponsors and social equity sponsors. The community sponsors is $50. You'll get your logo if you have a logo or your name on marketing and advertising on our social media pages, on our Facebook, our Instagram. We'll shout you out on YouTube. We'll give you an interview if you want to be interviewed. We'll shout you out, obviously, at the event, at the beginning, at the end. We'll give you the mic if you want to have something to say to the community. We'll have a few politicians, hopefully, in attendance as well. Some that may be running for office. So it should be a great room, a great space to connect and network with different people from all different walks of life, different parts of the industry. Which again, I think it's all a part of building a healthy cannabis community. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous. I'm always nervous, stuff like this, but I've gotten good feedback so far. I'm really just nervous about making sure everything runs smoothly. I do have a few people that have reached out to volunteer. So shout out to those people that have reached out to volunteer. Also, I'm looking to get some goodie bags put together. So if you have some products, some cannabis aligned theme products, CBD, tinctures, lotions, t-shirts, whatever, like hash, rosin, extracts, some flour. I'm looking to put together some goodie bags for folks, and maybe do a raffle. So I'm gonna do I think I might raffle off like an ounce of some Ohio boys. So Ohio, Ronnie, he's going to be on the panel, and he grows really good weed. He's a veteran. He does a lot of donations. So I'm gonna purchase some bud off of him and do a nice little giveaway. So yeah, it's first time ever doing an event like this. We've done some forums virtually during COVID, but now that we're not in COVID protocol, I figured my social battery has increased a little bit. I think I'm not fully charged. You know what I mean? Like the social shit, because people have egos, man, and everybody has their own thoughts, but nobody will do it. Like I'll put this event together and everybody have an excuse or everybody have a critique or a judgment. You should have did this. You should have did that. People will come. People want to say their piece. And it's like, why ain't nobody else organizing? Why ain't nobody else doing the work? So that's what, for me, it's like I get anxious because it's like I'm doing the work, I'm processing it while also like shit, I ain't got hella bread. You know what I mean? I'm a stay-at-home dad. You know what I mean? So again, it's pulling my resources together, pulling my connections together, and just doing it. So I hope it turns out well. We've already gotten 20 RSVPs so far. The max I think that we're accepting is 50. So we're almost halfway there, and I really still haven't even been marketing in a bunch. You know, we haven't done. I just went to the library yesterday and printed out a bunch of different flyers and stuff like that, where I'll start handing stuff out. I was gonna do some of that today, but I went and picked up a bike earlier, so I kind of, and then I had to cut the flyers. So if you see some flyers popping up around town, the event is in Old Town East. So like I'm not about to be posting flyers all around the city either. So I'm gonna just post them. If y'all want some flyers or you have a business that'll accept flyers, we got some different flyers. So I made a few different styles because people, you know, people be drawn to different stuff. So I got a few different versions of flyers. I don't know why I didn't make bigger versions of that. I probably should do that. The library is a great place if you are a grassroots nonprofit or small business person. I spent about $5, maybe like $15 on printing all of this, some colors, some black and white. Uh, Downtown Columbus. So they have a business center, nonprofit center. So yeah, I'm doing all of this shit on my own. You know what I mean? I like the challenge. I like the freedom. I like the creativity. Um, so yeah, for me, it's a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Like again, I'm not doing it for the money, right? Again, we are accepting donations if you feel what you want to support. But you know, this is more about human for me. You know what I mean? This is more about my soul, my spirit. You know what I mean? When God tells me to move in a certain way and gives me the vision, if you don't play on the vision, if you don't make the play, you can't say, well, I prayed and God ain't, well, God showed you and you ain't do the work. And that's where a lot of people lose. Because I get hella opportunities just because I move. Like, I don't think like, oh, I can't do it because I don't have a degree in this, or I can't work in this company because I didn't study this. Like, no, I'll learn wherever the fuck I go. I'll start at the bottom. You know what I mean? Like people got to realize you should start at the bottom, learn how the system works, and then you learn as you grow in the system. Like if you there for 5 years and you haven't taken advantage of different programs to get you into leadership positions, or you haven't taken benefit or taken the programs to get you extra college education on the job, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing. This is America still. Like, and the fact that people, oh my God, like there's no jobs. Create one. The fuck? Create a fucking job. I created Ohio Cannabis Report. Me, it's mine. I bought the website, OhioCannabisReport.com, and then I started to create. I started to do forms. I started to show up. I created the logo. No money, not a bunch of money. The website was $4. You know, I still pay for this shit. You know what I mean? I'm paying for shit that I'm still not even using just so that the shit looks something. I got a Spotify. I got a fucking Shopify account. I got the podcast. I'm one fucking man with fucking 2 kids, and we had a stillbirth 4 years ago. And I've done all this shit in spite of. I did a press conference the day after we lost our baby boy Miles, and fucking people killed me on Reddit because I showed up looking bummy because my shirt was fucked up. It was an older, shirt. My hair was long, so I had locks. You know what I mean? I hadn't slept in a day, 2 days, and I couldn't make it home to go shower in time because we was at Ohio State. And so I was like, man, like when am I ever going to be able to do? I didn't even know it was a fucking press conference whole time. Like fuck the lady, like not fuck, she's a cool lady, but she ain't tell me it was a fucking press conference. You know what I mean? I just thought I was like testifying or some shit. It was a fucking full on press conference. And I was like, fuck. But I was fucked up. And I was grieving and I was angry and I was upset. I was frustrated, and it didn't matter how I looked in that moment. You know what I mean? I literally just held my lifeless son. I literally just had to console my wife. You know what I mean? Who had to hold our lifeless son. How am I going to tell my son and daughter that their brother is not coming home? All the while using cannabis to help me process my trauma and my grief over my lifetime, right? So again, I posted on Reddit. Oh my God, you could have dressed better. You look like a bum. You could have, bitch. I don't see none of y'all bitch asses on from Reddit. Y'all be hiding behind these fucking avatars. Like everybody on social media hiding behind the avatar, hiding behind the name. My name is Gerald Moore Jr. I don't hide behind shit because guess what? I'm an All-American. I've been on the fucking screen forever now. Feels like a lifetime. I went away for a few years and now I'm back. But again, people, you have to do the work. But then oh, well, these people are put in position. Well, guess what? You're fine being a slave then. And a lot of white people don't think they're slaves. You are. You think you're better just because you're white. No. Some of us are smart. Very smart. Some of us have all of our teeth. But like, you vote a certain way. If you conservative, if you like people came on the chat there, oh, I'm conservative, but I like weed. Well, clearly your leaders don't. All right. I'm in Indiana. Recently took a day trip to Ohio. It was good to see the freedom there. I hope you can get all signatures. Keep fighting. Appreciate it. Yeah. Shit, if that shit feel like freedom, it is free. Like that's why I've been so public too, is because like once I got my medical card, I was like, oh shit, I could talk about weed now. Like I've been smoking since I was 17, but it was like nothing. You couldn't tell anybody now. You couldn't be like, well, yeah, I'm just smoking weed. Like I got now I could be like, yo, my doctor, and I got a black woman doctor. She used to work at Cleveland Clinic too. A black female doctor recommended me weed. Shit. So, I got my license. As soon as we got medical, I got my license. Like, I was one of the first ones because I was like, I'm already consuming cannabis and I'm already in public. I work with children as a coach, right? Training as an athlete. So my first business was a sports performance training business. And so again, I use cannabis medicinally, right? And so even though like I'm 6'1", 200 pounds, I smoke a lot of weed and still go out and perform at a very high level, right? I could still coach, I could still create a workout program, I could still teach somebody how to run, how to jump. But again, like I have to have certain credentials in order to show, just to protect myself. So I got my medical card. And then once I got my medical card, I started Ohio Cannabis Report. I started Athletes in Cannabis because, again, you have to create platforms and spaces to be able to have the conversation. ESPN doesn't want to have the fucking conversation. The NFL Network doesn't want to have the conversation. The NBA doesn't want to have the conversation. Our congressmen and women don't want to have the conversation. Our state representatives and state senators don't want to have the conversation. Our governors don't want to have the conversation. The business elite don't want to have the conversation. So who's going to have the conversation? Who's going to create the platform? Who's going to bring people from all walks of life together to have a conversation around the plant that sits at the intersection? It don't matter if you racist as fuck. You still deal with health issues, don't you? You still deal with economic issues, don't you? You still deal with environmental issues, don't you? You still deal with all types of shit, educational issues. Like, so you use cannabis, don't you? Okay. Black community, you deal with poverty, don't you? You deal with the war on drugs, you deal with policy, you deal with healthcare issues, educational issues, economic issues. The intersection, weed, men, you deal with health issues. Women, you deal with health issues. Men, you deal with mental health issues. Women, you deal with mental health issues. Cannabis, intersection. It's not that hard. It's not fucking rocket science. You have higher education, college institutions that get billions of dollars, but they're federally funded. We have cannabis is federally illegal. So technically, the Ohio State University, they can do research on it, but they can't necessarily work in the practice of cannabis because it's federally illegal. Oh, well, driving across to Michigan, bringing it back to Ohio was illegal because it was federally illegal, but it was two states that are both legally, medicinally, and recreationally. So guess what? We're not going to spend money, tax dollars, with our state highway patrol and our police officers fucking policing minor cannabis trafficking or whatever, because that would just be a waste. How about we worry about fucking pedophiles, huh? How about we worry about white collar criminals, huh? How about we worry about fixing our roads? How about we worry about educating our children? How about we worry about ensuring that our children aren't drinking lead water? How about we ensure that our children aren't being raised by these data centers that's sucking up all the water and fucking up the environment? But no, let's focus on the weed. Let's not educate our kids about hemp. Let's not create a whole nother generation and an economic boom through growing hemp and then processing hemp in a variety of different ways. Oh, let's not build more sustainable houses with hempcrete. Let's not create more sustainable fabrics. Oh, let's not clean the soil with hemp. Let's not clean the water, the air with hemp. Let's not eat hemp seed. Let's not feed the animals hemp. Let's not produce the highest quality of cannabis. So our folks that are dealing with cancer, irritable bowel syndrome, multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, arthritis, brain issues, tumors. Let's stay quiet. Let's keep just being controlled by boomer ass politicians and alcohol companies and tobacco companies and big gas and big plastic and corporations and business elite that use outside funding. I mean, use outside manufacturing, right? You're getting double taxed. If it's from China, you're getting double taxed. If it's from India, you're getting double taxed, right? Why is the Midwest so fucked up? Well, guess what? All of those manufacturers, there were people, there were policymakers, there were business leaders that said, hey, why the fuck would I pay these people in these small towns when I can outsource it across the pond, pay them way less, and then make you pay more? And y'all got hoodwinked. Because I've only been in Ohio for 17 years. And so obviously when I moved here, I mean, I was able to vote, but this place is fucking diabolical. The ignorance is just beyond me. No the public transportation ass. You can't get anywhere around this state if you don't have a good car. You're not moving nowhere. Like if you're born poor and you don't have access outside of that place, oh, God forbid. But guess what? A lot of people are entitled, right? A lot of people think like, oh, they're better. You're better than the Haitians in Springfield. We're all slaves to the system, and we can't change anything unless we stick together and fight the man to get the laws we want added to the Constitution. Exactly. And so again, the constitutional amendment, people keep bringing it up. Well, at some point, some community organization has to bring that thing together, right? Because again, in order to do this work, it costs millions of dollars, right? If you watch the previous interview that I had with Senator DeMore, he brought it up. He was like, I don't understand why you're getting signatures for no on SB 56 and not getting the signatures for the constitutional amendment, because all they have to do, all the Republican GOP led Senate and House have to do is change one sentence with whatever the referendum they put on the ballot for November. All right, let's say they get all the signatures. It gets put on the ballot. We go vote. It gets passed. Again, All the GOP has to do is come back and change one sentence, and the law changes all over again. And then we got to go out and get more signatures, raise more money. So again, I'm not a part of this organization. Nobody reached out to me to be a part of the organization. I've interviewed some people that are part of the group that is doing this. I don't know why you wouldn't reach out to probably one of the biggest podcasts in the fucking state around cannabis. I don't think they've reached out to Mastermind. They've reached out to a couple of news organizations and stuff like that. But again, you have to work in these spaces. You know what I mean? Like, we can go viral quick out here. You know what I mean? And so people are paying attention. People want the information. But again, a lot of people in the community, you have a lot of these, again, this is the hemp community now too. So a lot of the who's pushing SB 56 is more so the hemp community. And so again, these are still business owners, right? So a lot of people, a lot of citizens have to be aware that these are still business people. They're fighting for their lives now because, again, they've invested some of their money into this industry, right? Whether it's to create a hemp beverage, whether it's to, get into sell hemp in their, stores or whatever. Because again, once the bill passes March 20th, all the hemp that is sold in the hemp stores, the head shops, the little knockoff dispensaries, right? The gas stations, all of that has to be taken off the shelves, right? Obviously, people are going to be selling it, but people are going to be getting busted. So anything that is hemp is going to have to be sold at the dispensary, right? You can still go up to Michigan, but guess what? You drive back across state lines, it better be in the trunk. You can still drive around. You can still home grow. Better be in your trunk. So again, don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm literally just a guy with a camera. Because I'm going to smoke my weed regardless, and I'm going to take the risk. But I also got money. I also know lawyers. I also know people in positions of power and influence. You know what I mean? I also got family members. And so my situation going to be different. I know politicians on a first name basis, right? Like, I'm trying to help everybody though. You know what I mean? I want the shit to be free. I don't want people to have, I'm worried about the little dudes who 18, 19, 20, 21, 24 years old, just got a job, maybe trying hard, working, whatever, or somebody think they selling a sack and then they going to get busted. And now you got fines and criminal penalties. And now, you're going to have trouble getting housing. You're going to have trouble getting a job. And then it's a snowball effect, right? And then everybody looks at you like, yo, you fucked up. Well, no, cannabis was illegal. Well, what about all of our elders? What about the seniors now that consume cannabis? What are we going to do about them? What about all the seniors that would probably consume cannabis, but they're in a senior home? There's no places for them to go. So we have a lot of issues, you know what I mean? And that's why it requires in-depth conversations, real conversations. We got to have the uncomfortable conversations, the tough conversations as well. Because a lot of these cities' budgets are going to be hit hard because of federal government cutbacks of funding. I was just watching the city of Columbus talk about their budget last night at the city council. And what do you think they're going to do with this cannabis funding, right? That cannabis funding should go to people in the cannabis community, right? I would think so. Like, yeah, I wanted to go to kids and roads and stuff like that, but I think I should be supported, in disseminating cannabis news and information. Anthony Mastermind Riley. Because again, it's a risk putting your face on this thing. A lot of people, hiding behind, a lot of people are hiding behind avatars, right? Because, I don't want my job to know. or I don't want my family to know. But then you got white girls out here talking about I'm a legal drug dealer. Wow, you still got black men locked up and women for weed. It's crazy. So again, silence. A lot of people are silent. A lot of people are being complicit, right? A lot of people, as long as you're good, it don't matter. You know what I mean? And that's cool. You know what I mean? But stay out of other folks' business. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to speak up for other people, everybody don't have the same privileges. Everybody don't have the same knowledge. Everybody don't have the same ability to grow their own. Everybody may not have a good network of home growers. Everybody may not have the ability to read at a high level and decipher what's going on. Everybody may not have the ability to get to the state house or contact their state representative. But if we don't work together as a community, as a team, then we all fall, right? United we stand, divided we fall, right? And it don't matter how much money you have, because at the end of the day, these billionaires are going to be, their heads are going to be on a stake. And I'm about, let's hurry up that process. Like, ain't nobody been arrested for Jeffrey Epstein in America yet. Hillary Clinton doing a closed deposition on Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I need that shit to be open. We need to hear everything. This is taxpayer dollars that they've been. Oh, man. Les Wexner right here. Yeah, I don't think people knew. People knew what the fuck Les Wexner was doing, but guess what? They was on payroll. Oh, his philanthropy. He wasn't doing nothing for y'all. He wasn't doing nothing for this city. He was sending all that money back to Israel. Isn't real. The Wexner Foundation was a leadership foundation for isn't real. Like, it wasn't for the city of Columbus. This man is one of the largest landowners. Let's see if we got any updated news. Cincinnati did have a cool program. I don't think I talked about it. Maybe I did. Yeah, I think I did. Too much 6p.
Thanks, Marty. I'm your biggest fan. I'd invite you in, but it's freezing. My furnace is out.
Trust me, you need help.
Oh, I could never ask the Marty Brenneman to come in and fix my furnace.
Not me, help right there. In Cincinnati, they're the championship team for heating. Solved every problem that there is, show up on time, and get it done right. Help Home Services. When you need help with your heating.
Oh, welcome back. Raking in the dough on gummies, vapes, and a number of other products made with marijuana.
Yeah, so Ohio cities with dispensaries are now deciding how to spend piles of cash. Our WLWT News source Todd Dykes has been all over this issue from the beginning and explains why this is the case. Hi there.
Yes, Shereen, in some cases, piles and piles and piles of cash. No joke. The money's flowing because Ohio voters legalized recreational marijuana a little more than 2 years ago. Locally, the dollar amounts are eye-popping and going to communities that may surprise you.
On both sides of I-75 in Monroe, adults who like legal marijuana have been spending a lot of money at 4 dispensaries with names like Shangri-La and Columbia Care.
We were on the front end of this issue.
Issue 2, to be precise, the ballot measure voters approved in 2023 that paved the way for recreational pot. It included language that called for a sliver of the taxes generated by weed sales to go to Ohio cities, townships, and villages that let dispensaries set up shop. Now we've discovered exactly which cities are getting the money, and in many cases, it's a bunch of cash. Monroe's share so far, more than $946,000.
I think it has to do with our location and also with our council's vision and foresight
Welcoming Dispensaries is also paying dividends in Mount Orab to the tune of $431,000. Oxford's tally, $363,000. Lebanon, $302,000. In Milford, it's $661,000, while Union Township's share is $753,000. Perhaps most surprising is 7 Mile in rural Butler County. The small village, home to about 700 people, is $430,000 richer thanks to tax money from cannabis sales at this dispensary called Blue Medicinals. Another small community closer to the Queen City is also raking in some serious cash.
We're third in the state, Little Columbia Township, behind Columbus and Cincinnati for collecting marijuana tax dollars.
Thanks to this dispensary on Kennedy Avenue and this one on Ridge, Columbia Township's coffers have grown by $1.5 million. As president of the township's board of trustees, David Kubicki helped convince politicians at the State House to follow the will of voters.
After a year-long battle, we finally won, and we finally got our check.
It's weed money that comes with no strings attached.
You didn't get the whole
We tried
check.
to use those monies just to continue to rely less on levies and also to improve the quality of life, have events, improve protection, police protection, everything. So it meant the world to us.
Now, so far, Ohio communities with dispensaries have received nearly $36 million. The biggest share, $4.7 million, went to Columbus, followed by Cincinnati, which netted $2.5 million. At least one local council member in the Queen City wants to reinvest Cincinnati's share into neighborhoods targeted when pot was a crime. Todd Dykes, WNWT News 5.
As I was saying, Todd, I know you've been all over this issue, and you've reported that several cities do not actually allow dispensaries to set up shop because they were concerned of maybe some ripple effects. Are they now reconsidering when they see how much money is flowing into other cities?
I think that'll be the next chapter of this journey. We will see, of course, certainly a possibility. There are some big communities that don't have dispensaries, including Mason, also Westchester, for example, in our area. One issue that has given some local elected leaders pause was the possibility that state lawmakers would eliminate the tax sharing model, centralizing all that cash in Columbus. We now know that it's staying in place because of legislation that passed just a few months ago. And that clarity, really could prompt some more conversations at local community councils.
7 Mile, how many people there?
Around 700 people.
And how much money?
12, 430 grand.
That's $615 a person.
You did the math.
I just did it.
I can't do math.
Just give everybody a check.
Yeah.
And 7 Mile. All right. Thank you.
Impressive.
Thank you. That's interesting
Good
stuff.
math work, too.
Yeah.
Bird and the bean. Cannabis gummies sold by an Ohio dispensary were recalled.
When it's young and has the tender, vivacious foliage on there, it will eat it up. And the plant uses those leaves to complete its growth cycle. So without that, it's a terrible task to try to finish a plant. Like in certain areas like Worthington and Clintonville, the deer are pervasive. There are, some individuals that talk to me about their issues they have with off the deer, specifically with young starts. I don't think they're as attracted to the flower as they are the actual plant material. So usually young plants are attacked much more often. But like I said, once you are stopped at that part of the growth cycle, there's really a difficult task to make it to the harvest.
There's somebody out there who wants to grow 6 plants, maybe 12 plants total in their household. What can they do to fight off the deer?
Well, the actual rules for growing plants outdoors sort of help in that regard. They are a 6-foot fence, locked gate, and not visible from the public eye. So as long as you're following those rules, you have a better chance of preventing the deer. We do carry a couple of products that would also be deterrents, not necessarily guaranteed, but something that might help in the fight against the deer ruining any sort of crop you have.
Ohio's Division of Cannabis Control has recalled Ozone Soft Chews cannabis gummies. The recall was issued because the product's packaging is missing a universal symbol for THC. The affected gummies were sold at Ascend dispensary locations between September 2025 and February 2026. Bum, 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 bum. Cincinnati must use cannabis dollars to repair harms. Opinion. Ohio legalization of cannabis marks a major shift in public policy. For decades, cannabis was treated as a crime. Legalization brings a generational opportunity. It also brings responsibility, the responsibility to start repairing the real harm caused by prohibition. The case of repairing the damage is clear. When cannabis was illegal, enforcement was anything but equal. In 2010, the ACLU of Ohio found that Black Americans were 4 times more likely than whites to be arrested for marijuana possession, despite similar usage rates. In Cincinnati, a 2019 review by the city's law department showed that roughly 80% of marijuana arrests over a 15-year period involved Black men. These arrests had lasting consequences: criminal records, lost jobs, disrupted families, and communities caught in cycles of disinvestment. Now that cannabis is legal, Cincinnati will receive an ongoing revenue stream of a few $1,000,000 a year from Ohio's adult use excise tax. This puts the choice squarely before us. Do we allow these funds to be absorbed into general budget, or do we intentionally reinvest them into neighborhoods most impacted by past law enforcement? The From Harm to Hope Cannabis Reinvestment Fund that I introduced this week proposes a clear answer. It would establish a restricted fund within the city of Cincinnati's budget to ensure cannabis dollars this year and going forward are reinvested directly into the census tracts that bore the brunt of prohibition. The guiding principle is simple. Communities that experience the harm should be first in line for the benefits. To do this well, the proposal calls for Cannabis Reinvestment Impact Index, a data-driven tool that directs funding based on measurable factors such as historical marijuana arrest, poverty, housing vacancy, youth violence, and childhood-led poisoning. This ensures that dollars are guided by need, not politics. The fund should focus on one-time problems we can solve permanently and short-term investments that stabilize families and neighborhoods. Among the top priorities: first, clean slate Cincinnati. Ohio law now allows expungement of prior marijuana offenses, but the cost puts it out of reach for many. With an estimated 5,000 Cincinnati residents carrying marijuana-related records, dedicating a portion of cannabis revenue to expungement would permanently remove a major barrier to employment and housing. And once completed, the funding can be redirected elsewhere. Second, from record to resume, a workforce pipeline that connects individuals with expunged records to job training and employment, so we turn legal relief into economic opportunity and track results to ensure accountability. Third, year-round paid youth jobs in impacted neighborhoods, partnerships with Cincinnati Parks, Keep Cincinnati Beautiful, Groundwork Ohio River Valley, and other agencies can provide young people with income, mentorship, and pathways into the workforce, proven tools for reducing violence and improving long-term outcomes. Finally, the fund proposes tackling one of Cincinnati's most persistent and damaging inequities: childhood lead poisoning that impacts up to 1,000 children per year. Data from Cincinnati's Children's Hospital shows that adults who were lead poisoned as a child are 48% more likely to be incarcerated. Yet, unlike lead pipes, there is no dedicated funding stream to remove lead paint from homes. Investing cannabis revenue alongside philanthropic partners to make homes lead-free for families with young children would deliver generational impact while creating local jobs and remediation. Trust and transparency are essential. A Cannabis Reinvestment Community Advisory Board with majority representation from impacted communities and organizations such as the NAACP, the Urban League, faith leaders, and others will provide oversight and recommendations. Legalization should not erase history. It should respond to it. The From Harm to Hope Fund offers Cincinnati a way to transform a painful legacy into lasting progress, not just by changing laws, but by changing lives. Cincinnati City Councilman Mark Jeffries is the chairman of the Housing and Growth Committee and serves as vice president of the board of directors for OKI Regional Council of Governments. I like that. I like that. Damn. These little niggas. 33. What the fuck is you doing? Chicago woman accused of carjacking, killing Uber driver, allegedly made taunting Facebook posts afterwards. Montanya Perry, 33, is accused of having stolen the vehicle of Uber driver Danielle Figueroa, 28, outside a Chicago hospital before killing him as she fled. And then she smashed. She bugged out. The lace front, crazy. 33. Oh my God. Stole your life away. Boo 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 doo doo doo. All right, we're gonna do one more news article. Let's see. Do Columbus. It's cannabis. Columbus City Council reversing many of the mayor's budget cuts. What to know? Columbus City Council members intend to amend Mayor Andrew Ginther's proposed 2026 operating budget to add money cuts from the courts, homeless shelters, healthcare for uninsured patients, and other council priorities. Some money for police and fire recruitment, Columbus Recreation and Parks, and community grants remain on the chopping block. Vehicle break-ins. Injured after car. I don't got no marijuana news. Let's see. City Council. Newton traffic stop yields 24 grams of suspected meth after officers smell marijuana. Where's Newton at? Martin Luther, got him on Martin Luther King Street? That's crazy. Hey, yo. They got my man on MLK Street, though. Yeah, all that other shit they be on. I've been on that shit. Ohio hospitality industry fights DeWine's THC drink ban. See, that's why I don't like these newspapers. Look, I'm not subscribing, bro. I'm not subscribing. I'm not subbing. Amid the ban set to take effect in March, and despite the lingering specter of federal prohibition, the Ohio Restaurant and Hospitality Alliance, ORHA, is calling on Ohioans to press lawmakers to remove the component of the recently passed Senate Bill 56 that prohibits the sale of beverages made with hemp-derived THC. I'm telling y'all organizations, y'all be a part of these organizations. Y'all got to get y'all presidents. If you're as part of a sorority, a fraternity, a business organization, a community organization, y'all got to start having the conversations. You know what I mean? Everybody's still, oh, so-and-so be sneaking gummies. Or like, no, y'all got to have adult conversations. The kids are smoking the weed, but you don't want the kids to smoke the weed, but you smoking the weed. Like, come on. My parents ain't smoke weed back then. And then I started smoking weed. I came home one time, my stepmom had roaches. I said, the fuck? I never got in trouble for smoking weed though. So, well, I got hit one time. My dad was like, "You smoking weed?" I said, "No, I wasn't smoking weed. It was a Black and Mild." It really was. But I've been smoking weed every day since. I got that PTSD. Got that trauma. So no, I got that physical health. Like, but yeah, make sure y'all follow us, man. Ohio Cannabis Report. I appreciate y'all supporting. I appreciate y'all showing love. Make sure y'all RSVP to the Central Ohio Cannabis Consumer Cannabis Social Equity Forum. And this is going to be a series too. So if you can't make this one, I'm gonna turn it into a series. So this is just the first one. So if you want to be a part of this, if you want to be on a panel, if you want to, volunteer, if you got a brand, you want to be a partner, sponsor, hit me up. This is the email address. Hit me up. Pitch me. If you want to donate, hit me up at G13 Ventures or G13 Ventures on Cash App. If you want to support the nonprofit, we do have a nonprofit, Green Environmental Outreach. Our website is www.gelnonprofit.org. So we do a lot of our work through there. We are a veteran and women-owned nonprofit. We focus on all things green, all things environmental, sustainability, social equity, social justice, health and wellness, food, for our communities. So this is actually a book by one of our board members, Dr. Surinder Naravetla. Our nonprofit is based in Springfield. And so he's an author of this book that talks about salt kills, or salt being Black America's silent killer. And so salt causes obviously a lot of hypertension and heart issues, health issues in the Black community. So again, I'm an author as well. You know what I mean? So I'm the board president. You know what I mean? So we're doing good work. You know what I mean? And I'm not great at sales. So, I don't really like asking for money. If you support me, you support me. And the way you can support me in a capitalistic world is through money or liking, comment, sharing. You know what I mean? Obviously, all support helps. But I truly appreciate everybody. I think we have over 300 subs. Let me see how many subs we got before I log off. Oh, we had 322 subs. 322 subs. We climbing. Slow and steady. Yeah, I see. That's not. There we go. 322 subs. And then let me see the interview with Demore got about 1,000 hits on that thing. Where we at? Got about 1,000 hits. Got too much sex appeal. What people voted for. We got about 3.7K views on that thing in 7 days. I'll take it. So y'all make sure y'all blow that up. Go share. We got 92 comments. And I'm gonna come with some more interviews too, y'all. You know what I mean? It's just we just getting warmed up. I'm telling you, my battery just getting revved up. I got a lot of shit to say. And I got the mic, I got the camera, I got this. That's what I like about the internet and social media. Like, I'm in my house. Look, I'm in the comforts of my shit. I do what I want. You got to turn up. A lot of y'all not turning up enough. And I don't like it. Y'all only turn up on one demographic of people. Y'all got to tell me this, because I know like more than 50% of y'all voted for Donald Trump. So I know every time I see a white person, it's like it's a coin toss whether you voted for him or not. You know what I mean? And then you had to vote for him twice. Like, so y'all gotta riddle me this though. Riddle me this. January 6th insurrection. Scaling the motherfucking walls. It's February 26, 2026. Donald Trump has shown you he has blatantly fooled you with the tariffs, the war. He said he was going to stop the wars. We about to go to war with Iran. ICE. They shoot, bow, bow. They shoot what? The weed, like, what? Y'all voted for this man. Now tell me, is y'all life better today than it was, 2016? Or we gonna do Biden? My life cool. I just stay in the crib. I'm not dealing with y'all. Like, you can say whatever you want on the internet. As long as I ain't got to see you in person, keep that shit over there. But I'm just trying to understand, like, I see white men working everywhere. Like, it don't look like they having a shortage of work. Like, white dudes then decided to become girls. Like, that shit, I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know what it is to just want to dominate everything. Like, why? Why? Where you get out of that shit when none of the bitches like you? Because you fucking weird. I fucking love women, dog. And I don't understand how y'all be talking. Like, I can't be around dudes that just be talking about women crazy. Like, what? Nigga, I would rather be with 100 bitches than 100 dudes. What? Now, I'm married, clearly. But as a football player, as a former football player, that you in a room with 100 dudes, most of them niggas is not getting no play. Most of them cats is not getting no play. Trust me. I had one of the baddest. Okay? And I can tell you, the locker room conversations, niggas would get with anything to have some play. Dudes would be on the end of the bench flexing their ring. He don't even play. And I'm the type, I want to win for the dude on the end of the bench. You know what I mean? Because he deserves it. He practiced hard. We need practice players. But a lot of dudes is corny as fuck, weak as fuck, ego, insecure, can't take a joke. If a girl tell him he ugly, his meat little, like you gotta understand, a lot of these dudes are mentally and spiritually fragile. That's why money, power, the job title, the cars, the house, all of that fairy dust shit, that's why they put so much stock into that. My portfolio is ego. It's insecurity. Like, I couldn't imagine have to be walking around with a little dick all day. That shit got to be crazy. You have all the money in the world, bro. What? And then even if you can't, like, you ain't got no motion for real. Like, if you got to have money, cars, jewelry, a house, all this shit just for human nature, for a chick to be like, I want to be with you, I don't want it. I don't want it. I need you to be naturally attracted to me, not because, oh, he a billionaire. No, the way I move, they be like, oh, there's something about him, right? A lot of these dudes be weird. Like, look at Mark Zuckerberg. Like, oh my God, they just be moving like fucking little drones and shit. That's why they got to get young girls. Like, why do you think they were trafficking fucking teenagers and kids? You know how easy it is? All the girls in high school, I used to wonder, like, they was dating kids in college and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? That is some sick shit. And then they would be mad at you for not liking them. No, bitch, you are dating a grown-ass man. And he got bread and shit. I can't even compete with that nigga. I'm not taking you out to $100 dinner in high school. You got to be out of your rabbit-ass mind. You are crazy. But your mind, you may have breasts, you may look good, but you are young mentally. I went to school with a lot of girls, very smart, very intelligent, very beautiful. But here, oh my God, dude got a car. He can take you. Yeah, he got a job. But you better listen to what the fuck he's saying, or you're gonna be done. He's gonna have multiple of you. You know what I mean? Like I just don't get that logic, right? But when you look at how America's set up, patriarchy, I don't benefit from patriarchy. I'm a black man in America. Like that shit don't benefit me. I would much rather my wife be up here, which my wife is the breadwinner in our household, considering like the amount of money she makes. And I'm A-okay with that. Like there is no, like when we first started, it was different because it's like, it's not normal. But then I'm like, I don't fuck with corporate America. So I will help you be successful in corporate America. My wife has been in corporate America for the last 10 years and she's making well over six figures. Well over six figures. Just signed a 4-year contract. You know what I mean? Like my wife is doing her thing. You know what I mean? So for me, I understand business. I understand strategy. I understand marketing. I understand advertising. I understand history. I understand technology. I understand media. Again, I was on the cover of a magazine. I am an author. You know what I mean? So once you start to understand the systems, I have a degree in healthcare. So I'll always be able to go get a job, right? But I much prefer my freedom. I could smoke whenever I want to smoke. I could do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it, outside of with my kids. You know what I mean? But that's freedom to me. You know what I mean? And my wife loves what she does. My wife likes the people she works with. Now she's getting to the point now where she's trying to get fed up because it's more corporate, political stuff that, you know. But that's why I'm starting to turn up more, because once my shit start flowing, then I'll be like, babe, go ahead and chill. Ohio Cannabis Report is doing that work. We got a network now. You know what I mean? We doing events. We doing forums. We got merch. We got the podcast. We got this show. We got that show. We got this. We got that. We got this cultivator. We got this processor. We got this. You know what I mean? Like that's the goal eventually. But you start small. You start at the ground floor. You start building. Little by little by little, right? Started with 0 subscribers, right? You know how crazy you got to be just talking to yourself? There's 3 people here. Okay. Appreciate y'all. Clap it up for yourselves. I appreciate those 6 eyes if y'all got all your eyes. And I appreciate everybody that's tapping in and out. Like I truly do. But I just wish more people like in Ohio would get the courage, the balls to just talk about what you're passionate about. Right? There's so many people in Ohio that are doing great things, but then be like, well, we don't get the support because nobody fucking knows. I be around so many creative artists and so many creatives, and they be like, man, I'm tired of just not getting paid my worth, or I'm tired of this. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. Like, why do y'all just assume just because you put out one little thing of art that some of you just supposed to demand $5,000? Your network isn't that. You have to build that up. Like there's so many people that just expect shit to happen. Like, no, if you don't have $500,000, $100,000, $50,000, $10,000, $5,000 to invest in something, you have to start with what you have. If it's free, use it. You can go to the library, internet free. You have a computer, YouTube free, Gmail account free, Canva free, Eventbrite free. All of the platforms that I've used to build out what I've done free. The Google platforms free. If you don't have a computer, you can go get a Google account. But there's so many people that complain about the barriers to this, to that, to this, or they just want something fucking spoon-fed to them, handed to them, and then they want to judge and critique that. Like I see a lot of that. I see a lot of complaining and no action in this state. Oh my God, I can't believe the data centers. Who the fuck is going to talk to the governor and to all these people? Oh, well, I'm tired. I got to work. But y'all be watching fucking Housewives or this. Your kids are in 30 fucking sports. Y'all didn't make it past varsity, but little Jimmy got to be in soccer, lacrosse, baseball, field hockey, track. Oh my God, we can't afford it. The gas prices are too high. The property taxes. Who controls all that shit? The state house. But you got to go talk to the people. You know what I mean? Like, hold them accountable. Y'all will hold somebody less qualified. Y'all hold me more accountable for going off and raging and whatever than the fucking governor. All these people talking about, oh, we don't know what Les Wexner was doing. He was funding everybody politically in Columbia. We don't know. We didn't know. Oh, my God. Columbus is top fucking 5 in human and sex trafficking. But we got fucking Victoria's Secret thongs everywhere. Tall white girls, blondes, fucking skin and bones, probably from the middle of nowhere. Fucking Abercrombie and Fitch and shit, Hollister. But no, we don't fucking know. I'm glad I ain't seen no black babies in there. Thank God. Leave us alone. Because that shit is died. But y'all been doing that shit to us. Like, we know what's going on. Y'all, that shit crazy. And I've been in Ohio a long time now, and I've been fucking, I was like, it's just something about this place that's just off. It's off. It is really off and disturbing. And this fucking Les Wexner, Jeffrey Epstein shit really fucking took the cake. Because I'm like, I felt something was just weird. And, you know, I be around white people too. So I'm like, yeah, y'all just different. I know white people. And I know cool white people because I got a few cool white people that are slide. So if any of y'all ever think about getting froggy, just know I got a hella white people on deck. And they real. A lot of people don't understand, like, look at my skin complexion. We have European in my blood. So when I talk about white people, it's not racist because I know white people, you're racist. No. First of all, you can't be racist because I can't stop you from getting money being you. But my granddad light skin. So just know. But it just frustrates me because so many people want other people to do the work. People like, oh, you should be a politician. No, the fuck I shouldn't. No, I should not be a politician. No way in hell. They're all corrupt. All of them. Because the system is fraudulent just by the makeup. So if they're not fighting for the most common and average person, it's over. It's all money. You can't fucking operate without the money. So how you gonna stop somebody? Oh, well, y'all got to get that money from Les Wexner back. Well, he ain't been charged with nothing. Well, he was the one that funded Jeffrey Epstein. Well, he hasn't been charged with it. Well, he's been in plenty of pictures. Well, he said he wasn't friends with him, but we see all these emails. We see all this communication. Oh, he sent them a birthday card with titties on it, but they weren't friends. Come on, man. But the politicians get off, and then they have money, and then they just float away. The women let them do whatever the fuck they want because they got a lot of money. Fuck all the little girls, all the little boys they want to. All the little blood rituals and shit. And we just go keep showing up for work every day like shit ain't going on. Like your boss ain't human trafficking you. Because a lot of y'all getting trafficked at y'all jobs. And you don't even realize it. Guess what? If you work for a company 40 plus hours a week and you still can't afford basic essentials to live, what is that? But you can't afford to quit the job. But then they could fire you whenever they want to. But then you got a boss you don't like. You got a manager you don't like nobody you work with. You fucking heavy labor job. It's the only job you got in your fucking town or city. What is that? Somebody said earlier, we all say, yeah, what is that? You can't just walk off the job when you want to and go do whatever the fuck you want, whenever you want. Oh, take off work one too many days. Fuck up on the job one too many times. What is that? You get reprimanded at work. A lot of y'all insecure because you ain't got no power at work. So then you come home and you take it out on your husband or your wife or your kids. That's why some of y'all need to smoke weed. And so a lot of y'all probably smoking weed. Because again, you don't even control your fucking day. You got to show up at this time. You got to be here at that time. You got to put this uniform on. You got to follow these rules, these guidelines. Blah, 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 blah. Leave work exhausted, tired. Your kids is at school. You don't spend no time with your kids. The time you do spend with your kids, you're tired and exhausted. Fucking struggling to make ends meet, so you can't do all the fun things that your kids want to do. Kids want to do this sport. Kids want to go on vacation. Slave. What up, man? Smoke one for everybody, for sure. All right, we out. Make sure y'all go get the RSVP on the website, on Eventbrite. I'm gonna pull this up, and then I gotta head out. So this is the Eventbrite page. Like I said, you go here to get the tickets. It's free. I do ask that you RSVP though, just so we know how many people coming. Only 2 per person. If you want to invite a friend. We do have our community sponsor. So if you want to be a community sponsor, it's $50. If you want to be a social equity sponsor, $250. And then we are accepting donations. So if you want to give a donation just to help us, run this event, do this event series, it will be greatly appreciated. So hope all y'all have a blessed day, a blessed rest of the week, and we'll see. I might hop on again tomorrow or this weekend. So again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody showing love. Peace and love. Blessings. We out.